Come on, almost there. Almost. Yes! It is now officially the holiday season, a very merry whatever it is you celebrate to you and yours. And what I like to celebrate around here are holiday overlays. You know, when Disney gives those attractions a facelift to make them a bit more festive, a bit more in the holiday spirit when the holidays do roll around for the winter months. Now, you know the popular ones. You know the famous ones. Haunted Mansion Holiday, It's a Small World Holiday, and to a lesser extent, or a greater extent, Living with the Land, Glimmering Greenhouses. That's the best one. It's non-negotiable. But, my friends, what about those poor attractions? The ones who need a bit more love, the neglected ones that Disney leaves out in the snow to shiver and decay around the holiday season, when we should be embracing them with open arms, welcoming them into the world of holiday overlays. And that's what I'm here to talk at you about today. 10 special attractions that stay the same year after year, season after season, that would benefit greatly from a holiday overlay just to mix things up a little bit. And this is going to be a mix of attractions at Disneyland and Walt Disney World, so if you're on either coast, stay tuned because this video has a little for everybody. So without blathering on too much longer, here they are, everybody. My top 10 Disney rides that need holiday overlays. So I think it's fair to start this video off with an attraction that's present at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World. Kind of. Yeah, y'all ever heard of the Autopia? You ever heard of the Tomorrowland Speedway? Well, they're very, very similar attractions. Not the same, but similar. Autopia was meant to represent the highways of tomorrow when it first opened, but now it's more of just like a, hey kids, do you want to drive a car and look at a robot? You can with the Autopia. And let me tell you, I love it. I love every second of the Autopia. Tomorrowland Speedway, on the other hand, is themed to a semi-futuristic racetrack and serves as sort of a transition between Tomorrowland and Fantasyland at the Magic Kingdom. But what do they both not ever do? Celebrate Christmas. That needs to change right well, actually, not right this second, but when the holidays start at Disney World and Disneyland, then it needs to change. I mean, just think about it for a second. Losing control of your Autopia car on those icy roads, skidding off the side into an embankment. I mean, putting Santa hats on Osimo and Bird, maybe decorating the area with some Christmas trees or snow. I know they do this a little bit at Tomorrowland Speedway at Walt Disney World, but I think they could go even further, even more. Throw a Santa in there, for crying out loud. Throw Santa Claus in there. The sort of Christmas lights experience they do at Tomorrowland Speedway now is really good, but it needs more. Fully commit, decorate the cars, decorate the queue, go all out on the holiday theme. And I believe this sort of light holiday overlay for the Tomorrowland Speedway is only during the Christmas party. If I'm correct on that, I might not be. Someone please correct me in the comments down below. And then when it comes to the Autopia, there are so many possibilities. There is a little tiny portion of indoor queue for Autopia that they might be able to change, might be able to spruce up, decorate, put some tinsel on the wall or something. Plus, it feels like Autopia has a lot more nooks, crannies, twists, and turns than the Tomorrowland Speedway, so there's a lot more theming that could fit in there if they wanted to, which they should. Throw a Santa in there. They could hang some holly, you know, from the abandoned People Mover tracks that twist and turn above the Autopia. That would be pretty neat. It's not a People Mover video. This is not a People Mover video. I'm just picturing a more winterized sort of sleigh ride version of Autopia and the Speedway that's open for everyone all day for the entire holiday season, not just during the parties. Put some winter tires on those things though, for goodness sake, we gotta be safe. Okay, you're gonna just have to stick with me on this one. You're just gonna have to trust me, okay? I have a point to all of this. Stay with me here. The Jungle Cruise at Disneyland no longer has a holiday overlay. At Walt Disney World, it still does. It's called the Jingle Cruise. And so if you're at Walt Disney World, if you're a Walt Disney World visitor, you can go ahead and plug your ears for this segment. You can keep your eyes open though and watch me talk about nothing, just in pure silence. Did I get you there? No, it's fine, it's fine. Sorry. Stick with me here. In 2017, Disney stopped doing the Jingle Cruise at Disneyland. It no longer happens, it's just the Jungle Cruise year-round. There's a small reference to the Jingle Cruise at the end at Trader Sam's Lost and Found / gift shop, it's both. But the Jingle Cruise does not return, and I think this is a Horrible, horrible miscalculation, especially because it's present at Walt Disney World. You know, the people who only get to ride Jungle Cruise once in their lives will maybe experience Jingle Cruise. Meanwhile, at Disneyland, where you can ride Jungle Cruise as often as you want, you get more local visitors, it's just the Jungle Cruise. Give us a merry, holly, jolly cruise, Disney. So this video should be called, unless I change it, Disney Attractions or Rides That Need Holiday Overlays. And the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland, while it did have a holiday overlay, it does not anymore. And I would argue, it needs it. It's not higher on this list because it already existed, but it does earn a spot on the list because I think the aesthetic of the Jingle Cruise is just so unique and it's so Adventureland that it needs to come back to Disneyland. This isn't a Bring Back the People Mover video. This isn't a Bring Back Horizons to Epcot video. This is a Bring Back the Jingle Cruise video now. Not a lot of the actual ride scenes themselves change for the Jingle Cruise. They usually dress it up with some tinsel, some Santa hats, some presents, some ornaments all over the place. But what really makes the Jingle Cruise special are the jokes that the cast members, the skippers, get to tell. That's the best part of the Jungle Cruise anyway. And them getting able to experiment with new holiday-themed jokes is reason enough to hop in that hour-long standby line if it's that long. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. You can use Genie Plus if you want to. I don't know. We haven't even seen a Disneyland Jingle Cruise with the new updated scenes either, so there's something to take into account. Disney, I implore you, save us all from this Jingle Cruise drought. Do the right thing. Throw a Santa in there. Okay, so just to let you know, the mere mention of this attraction sometimes manages to set a few people off, so I'm gonna give you all a trigger warning before we move forward. This segment will be about Frozen Ever After at Epcot, okay? The ride with Anna, Elsa, Olaf, the reindeer, and that guy? Yeah, they're all in here. We're talking about Frozen Ever After. Now, before we talk about the attraction at the second best theme park of all time, Epcot, I need to tell you the story of Olaf's Frozen Adventure, a holiday featurette set in the world of Frozen that was aired before Coco when it was released in theaters, okay? Let's start there. Some people were upset that this was airing before Coco in theaters because it was Disney sort of trying to overshadow the release of Coco with the more well-known popular IP that was Frozen at the time. People felt that by showing this film before Coco, it is like sort of sending the message that Disney didn't really believe in the film and they needed something to bring the wider audience into the theaters, and that was, in this case, Olaf. Of course, after this fact, Disney was proven wrong. Coco was a massive success, still is to this day. And Olaf's Frozen Adventure did not have a very short runtime either. It was about 20 minutes long. But the thing is, this was never created with the purpose of being shown before Coco. Instead, this was meant to be a televised Christmas special shown on cable television. But putting this before Coco left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, so bad that cinemas in Mexico actually offered an apology and removed it from the feature presentation. It was taken out completely, which is absolutely 100,000% valid. I do not think this should have aired before Coco, and it really left the wrong impression. That being said, however, the featurette itself, I think, is pretty okay. It's decent, it's fine. It shows all the different holidays that are celebrated in the Kingdom of Arendelle, and it really sets a good blueprint for what a holiday overlay to Frozen Ever After at Epcot could look like. Bam, full circle, brought it back, told you I would. It's kind of interesting to me that my favorite Walt Disney World park that hosts the Festival of the Holidays only has two holiday-themed overlays, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind and Living with the Land, which is obviously the best holiday overlay to have ever existed in any of the Disney parks. Unless you count Figment's sweater, which you can count, I will accept. There needs to be a little bit more, right? I mean, the holidays are such a big part of the winter season everywhere around the world. Why not have that reflected at Epcot? Not just in the Norway Pavilion and Frozen, by the way, this is a bit of a tangent, but other countries around the World Showcase, okay? It just makes too much sense. They wouldn't have to do too much with Frozen Ever After, though. It is during the summertime. It's a summer snow day. That's why you go to the Kingdom of Arendelle, but all they would have to do is add some snow to the ground, change the characters' costumes, maybe have them sing a song from Olaf's Frozen Adventure. You could do that because of their projection faces, right? You just change the PDF file that is showing on their faces. I will never get over them. I hate them so much. And then, of course, you would also be able to decorate the queue, that lamppost, the houses in Arendelle, the boats themselves, and of course, Oaken's Tokens, not Wandering Oaken's Trading Post, that's a different place. You could fill the shelves with presents for the characters. I'm not the Imagineer here, okay? I'm not in charge of the finer details. That's for Disney to take care of. I'm just here to let you all know the broader rides that need these holiday overlays, and I think Frozen would be a good candidate. And you know, it doesn't even have to be Frozen. Even like Ratatouille could have a holiday overlay. He's making a Christmas dinner and you're there just in time. That one doesn't work as well because yes, it is mostly screens. You can't update that video. It is very synchronized to the video that you're being shown normally. I don't know how a holiday overlay for Ratatouille would work aside from just set dressing like they do in Living with the Land, which by the way is the best one. Now, as to what you would call it, I don't know. You got the Jingle Cruise, right? That one's clever. Haunted Mansion Holiday, that kind of rolls off the tongue. Frozen Seasons Freezings, there you go. That one is on me, Disney. That's free. You can use that one. Now keep in mind, it's not every day you get a walkthrough holiday attraction. Yeah, that's right, we're talking about the Sleeping Beauty Castle walkthrough. I haven't experienced the Adventureland Treehouse yet, although the Swiss Family Treehouse at the Magic Kingdom is also a really good contender. It ties into the whole Jungle Cruise being a wonderful aesthetic to mix with the holidays. But we're talking about Sleeping Beauty right now. They decorate the outside of her castle. Why not decorate the inside? It's as easy as that. Now, over the course of its history, Disneyland's castle has gone from being empty to being empty, not used, but filled with cats, to being used for a walkthrough, and then eventually that walkthrough would change over the years, the scenes going from physical 3D sets to more 2D 3D sets. How do you explain this? Now, I think it would be fun just for the holiday season to sort of go back to the 1977 version of the Sleeping Beauty Castle walkthrough with these dioramas that are full of dolls? Are these dolls? They look like dolls. I mean, come on, they take out the hitchhiking ghosts every year. Who's to say they can't take out these scenes? They actually might not be able to. Cast members, chime in. Are you able to remove these? Are they able to be removed to replace with a new, more festive scene? Now, how often do I talk about how important walkthrough attractions are? I feel like I should do it more often. They're very important. They help build the atmosphere of a land without having to wait in line or buy a Genie Plus in order to experience an attraction or special effects. It's super important. And the fact that you could maybe take out some scenes and redo them for a holiday overlay, I just think is genius. It's a Sleeping Beauty holiday castle walkthrough. Just think about all the possibilities. And if they wanted to, they could go a step further. It doesn't have to be just Sleeping Beauty themed. If they wanted to do more, they could do different scenes, different holiday scenes from different Disney movies. The old ones, Snow White, new ones, Disney Wish. I don't know if they're talking about the cruise ship or the film, but it's one of those two. Believe me, I think I'm right on that. I mean, just think about it, Disney, come on. You decorate the outside, why not just, do a little bit extra and decorate the inside as well? Although I feel like I should step in and specify here, Disney, it is within your best interest to leave the corridor of goons alone. I think the goons are great, they can stay, all right? Just give them some Santa hats or something to appease them. Let the goons live. Boy, do I love Epcot. Have I mentioned that at all in any of my videos? I feel like I usually leave that detail out. Okay, there is a special roller coaster at Epcot. Epcot's only roller coaster called Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. And believe it or not, it does have a holiday overlay. Remember back at number 8 I talked about it? Oh man, those were the days. Let me tell you, number 8, they just don't make numbers like that anymore. Now, it's not overtly a holiday overlay. They don't add tinsel and trees and presents everywhere. They just change the music playlist to Christmas songs. All I Want for Christmas is Groot. Who here isn't familiar with that banger? But then we visit its sister attraction. We travel over to Disney California Adventure Park, over to the Hollywood Backlot / Avengers Campus, to Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. And there is no holiday overlay over here. And that's tragic. Now, the reason I want this holiday overlay for Mission Breakout is because Monsters After Dark for Halloween is so good. And it's not just for Oogie Boogie Bash. They close it down earlier in the day, so toward the tail end of the normal operating day, regular guests like you and I who didn't buy a ticket get to go on it. Now, I believe the holiday remix over at Epcot uses sort of Guardians of the Galaxy themed parodies of popular Christmas music, but in my head, the overlay for Mission Breakout over at California Adventure would just use the actual songs, right? So you're listening to some Mariah Carey in the Gantry Lift, you're listening to Wham, you're listening to some Jingle Bell Rock. I feel like that would add a bit more authenticity to this ride while also keeping it within that, that holiday spirit. This is something Disney needs to seriously consider. It shouldn't be too hard, right? The transition from from regular Mission Breakout to Monsters After Dark, I feel like only takes about an hour, usually each day, maybe less. I'm not familiar with it completely. Maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes. You could add a new lighting package to it used to be the basement/boiler room for Tower of Terror. I'm not exactly sure what that big loading room is called for Mission Breakout, but just some new lighting, and then you could do a brand new pre-show like what they do for Monsters After Dark. Now I say you don't have to decorate it. You should, and you could, but you don't have to, but you should, okay? Give poor Harold a scarf and a hat, okay? He used to live in the Matterhorn. Now he's just sitting in a basement. Give that man some winterized clothing. Now, as for what they'd call it, what the name would be, not entirely sure on that one, because over at Epcot, it's Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind, Holiday Remix. So it'd have to be Guardians of the Galaxy, Mission Breakout, something. You can't take the name Holiday Remix, because that's already over at Epcot, so maybe like a Holiday Beat or Holiday Mix. You just take the re out. I don't know. Just throw a Santa in there. Have any of you ever seen just an hour-long retrospective on Star Wars Galaxy's Edge? No? Well, I've done one. There's the card right there in the corner. It's right there. Click it. Did you also know that Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run was supposed to, or is supposed to, contain multiple missions? You could probably see where I'm going with this. You see, in the world of Star Wars, they don't celebrate Christmas, they don't celebrate Hanukkah, they don't celebrate Kwanzaa, they don't celebrate the winter solstice. What they do in Star Wars is celebrate a very special holiday called Life Day. Now, this was part of the Star Wars Holiday Special, the forbidden Star Wars special that was released and just buried because it was so embarrassing to George Lucas. He never wanted anybody ever to see it ever again, but it was made canon in The Mandalorian. Life Day is a real thing. And in Galaxy's Edge, you can even buy these blue balls that sort of just glow. It's a Life Day thing. The Wookiees do it. So why not have a Life Day overlay for Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run? You gotta get to Kashyyyk, you gotta get Chewie back to his family just in time for the holiday celebrations. I think Disney, as a whole, Disney is sort of sleeping on the seasonality of Galaxy's Edge. Yeah, the merchandise at Dok-Ondar's tends to shift throughout the seasons, but the land itself stays pretty close to the same. Now, I'm not asking for snowflakes to fall every night. I'm not asking for Santa Claus to fly his magical levitating sleigh over the Black Spire outpost, but what I am asking for is some sort of overlay for the Millennium Falcon. Considering that's the easiest one. Rise of the Resistance Holiday Special, though? Consider it, Disney. Okay, now we're getting to the good stuff. We're getting to the classics that deserve holiday overlays. Haunted Mansion? Psh, it's already got one. Think about Tomorrowland. Which attraction is best suited for a holiday overlay? Think. No, we already talked about that one. Remember, that was number 10. Think, and if you said Space Mountain, you thought correctly. Now, believe it or not, this has been done before, but I believe it can be done better. Okay, and this goes for both coasts, all right? That's why I'm showing footage of both. This goes for both Disneyland and Magic Kingdom. Everybody pay attention. Now, you may be asking yourself the same question I was asking myself while making this video. What does space up there have to do with the holidays down here? But you should be asking yourself a different question. How is it that you think Santa Claus gets around the world in one night to deliver presents to every good child that exists on the planet? That is the question we need to be asking ourselves, and that's the question I think Space Mountain Holiday will aim to answer. And that's a great point. I actually have no idea how Santa gets around the world so quickly, but that is the theme of Space Mountain Holiday. Imagine you and yours climbing into your rocket sleigh and helping Santa deliver presents all over the world just in time for Christmas Day. And how else would Santa get there but by traveling at the very edge of space? I promise the less you think about it, the more sense it makes. Obviously, the lighting in the ride would receive a festive update, and maybe Santa Claus himself telling you exactly how to accomplish this mission over the speakers. Just imagine that blue tunnel at the beginning of the ride, except instead of going into hyperspace, you are now traveling through a blizzard on Christmas Eve. Something along those lines. You're helping out Santa. Throw him in there. Now, Space Mountain over at the Magic Kingdom already does have a overlay. It's called Space Mountain Holiday Run, and the outside, the lighting package for Space Mountain looks exactly right. This is what it needs to look like. This is actually perfect. This is exactly how I pictured it in my head. The inside, on the other hand, leaves a little to be desired. There's a lighting change and there's a music change. I think they could go even further, maybe add some simple show scenes similar to Cosmic Rewind over at Epcot that are easily readable as you ride past at the speed of light or the speed of Santa. Throw them in there. I'm done with that. It's over now. Oh, we're getting to the good ones now. Okay, so something new happening this year at Disney's Hollywood Studios for the holidays is called Jollywood Nights, and it's an after-hours holiday party over at Hollywood Studios. And it features holiday performances, food, and special shows, but there's a problem I've run into. There is not a single confirmed holiday overlay for any of the rides. And that's a darn shame because I think two aesthetics that go really, really well together are Old Hollywood and Christmas. What year specifically for Old Hollywood? Well, that year, my friends, would be 1939 at the Hollywood Tower Hotel. Just for a second, think about it. Think for a second how beautiful the lobby would be with a roaring fireplace, stockings hung by the chimney with care, tinsel, Christmas trees, presents. I feel like it just adds, it seems so cozy to me. Even though it's an abandoned haunted hotel, still cozy. For the ride experience though, they could keep it exactly the same if they wanted to, just have it be an aesthetic overlay, or if they wanted to, go a completely different direction and pay homage to those early, 1950s and 60s Christmas specials. Think It's a Wonderful Life. You could have a cozy old 1940s, 1950s holiday special devolve into something spooky, something haunted, something scary. Although, again, I'm not entirely sure how easy it would be to alter the ride scenes and the special effects themselves. But even just the really small touches of just decorating the Hollywood Tower Hotel for the holidays for a classic vintage Hollywood Christmas, I feel like, personally, for me, would be enough. It's kind of silly that for the past few entries on this list, I was talking about how they do a little bit for the holidays, but they don't do enough. They need to do more. And now for the Tower of Terror entry, number 3 on our list, I'm talking about how they don't do anything at all and they should just do something. Give us something. Give us anything. Any piece of Christmas at the Tower of Terror would be enough for me. I think that's a little bit silly, a little bit goofy, a little bit funny. So here I'm just asking for little touches to help build the atmosphere of the ride, right? I think the atmosphere is very important. The Tower of Terror does a wonderful job setting it throughout the rest of the year, doing a sort of corrupted Christmas at the Tower of Terror for Jollywood Nights, or, preferably for the entire operating day for everybody, so everybody could experience it, would be amazing. That's why it's number 3 on our list. All right, everybody, pack your bags. We are headed back to Disneyland, to the happiest land of them all, through the castle to Fantasyland, which does feature one of the best holiday overlays in any of the Disney parks. It's a small world holiday, but we are going to actually stick up toward the front in Fantasyland proper, where the Fantasyland dark rides, I feel, could use some improvement when it comes to the holidays. No, not Snow White's Enchanted Wish, no, not Pinocchio's Daring Journey, and not even Peter Pan's Flight. I think you can see where I'm going with this. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Yes. Not only would Toad Hall and Toad's statue look absolutely beautiful, decorated for the holidays, but we could also get some British Christmas traditions in there. You could throw a paper crown on the statue. You guys do that over there, right? The whole paper crown thing, right? And the ride would essentially be very similar to what it is now, except it's the winter time. You're driving through England on the snowy roads, you slide off because your tires weren't winterized into an embankment. Wait, no. Yeah, you'd still get hit by a train, there's nothing we can do about that. That's just the way the world works. But what I'm really interested in seeing is how Disney, or me, my creativity, would decorate hell for the holiday season. The season dedicated to the Lord spent with the adversary. I just want to see hell celebrating Christmas. I feel like that would be absolutely hilarious. Like, yeah, sure, your boss is his number one enemy, but hey, everybody loves a little bit of Jingle Bell Rock from time to time. Who doesn't? Even little bouncy little red rubber demons do. Heading back up to the land of the living, though, I think a nice British cozy Christmas would be a lot of fun, and I think it's actually kind of a shame that none of the Fantasyland dark rides ever get any sort of update for any of the holidays. Maybe a Snow White's Scary Adventure overlay for Halloween. Get it? Because it used to be that. It's a small world holiday, really makes that sort of back corner of the park a must visit during that time of year, and I think a lot of Fantasyland could take some notes from it, okay? I'm just gonna say that. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is one of the best rides at Disneyland, and having an overlay themed to one of the best holidays, it's so good I'm celebrating it a month early, it just makes perfect sense. I need a Mr. Toad holiday. I don't care how they do it, I don't care why they do it, I don't care what they name it. Mr. Toad holiday needs to be a thing. And now that was number 2 on my list because Mr. Toad is just so good. What in the world would be better than Mr. Toad's Wild Ride? That, my friends, would be number 1. I mean, you just think about it for a second, it should be really, really obvious what number one on this list is. What are my favorite attractions? Haunted Mansion, Living with the Land, those already have holiday overlays. There's a third one though, and that third attraction, of course, is the People Mover. Now, I actually have hope for this one, that Disney might actually do something holiday related with the People Mover this year. Maybe. Let me explain. Now, obviously, as we all know, the Disneyland People Mover is no longer with us, so this does not apply to Disneyland's People Mover unless, Disney, you just want to bring it back and make it holiday themed year round. Something to think about. That way you always have a holiday offering, even if it's, June. You see, over at this little known sort of local theme park joint called, I don't know if you've heard of it, the Magic Kingdom, they tend to celebrate the holidays a little bit more in Tomorrowland than they do over at Disneyland's Tomorrowland. They have that whole Space Mountain lighting and music upgrade, they do the little lights on the Tomorrowland Speedway, but they do nothing, absolutely nothing, as far as I know, with the People Mover. It stays exactly the same, and that needs to change. Disney, that needs to change right now, because you are now entering the holiday season and you just received new narration for the opening of Tron Light Cycle Run earlier this year, which makes it possible, maybe, it's out there, I'm putting the idea out there, that maybe they recorded a special spiel for the holidays, just for the winter holidays. When the casting call for a new People Mover narrator was released earlier this year, people were wondering what this would mean for the future of the attraction, and it basically stayed the same with new narration that mentioned Tron Light Cycle Run, which, by the way, it's wonderful, lovely ride. The sort of holiday overlays for the other two attractions in Tomorrowland were introduced in 2019, and then 2020 obviously was COVID, and then 2021 and 2022 was them constructing and sort of putting the finishing touches on this sort of proto-new Tomorrowland they're doing over there at the Magic Kingdom. Now, I'm gonna level with you all here. I don't foresee Disney doing a holiday overlay for Tron or for Space Ranger Spin, but I think the potential with a holly jolly People Mover lies with the small show scenes that are featured throughout its ride time. And I mean, first and foremost, who wouldn't want to see Progress City celebrating the holidays? I want to see the ground covered in snow, I want to see Christmas trees, I want to see menorahs in windows, I want to see carolers at doors. There are churches in Progress City, why not have a little bit of Christmas fun? And there's more than that. There's the scene where the lady's getting her hair done by the machine, the robot in the rocket, and I know bear with me here. You pass through Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters as part of the People Mover. Maybe that could be the incentive they need to make the Buzz Lightyear holiday special that we've all been waiting for and wanting this entire time. Or it's just me. It could just be me. Now, I was trying to decide between the Railroad and the People Mover for my number one, because I really do love the Disneyland and Walt Disney World railroads, and you're wondering, oh, if it was between them for number one, why isn't the Railroad at number two? And I think I could save that for an entire separate video, how the Railroad could change throughout the seasons. Maybe I'll make it, maybe I won't. But for right now, the People Mover is number one. Walt Disney World's People Mover is just so good, and then just making it a seasonal overlay for Christmas, for Halloween, for St. Patrick's Day, for Valentine's Day, for the 4th of July. Disney, there's so much you could do. But what about you? Have I convinced you? Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree with my list? What are other rides that I should have mentioned that I didn't mention? Because Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway Holiday has a nice ring to it. It makes it even harder to say. Think about it, it's great. Please be sure to let me know down in the comments below. What other top 10 video takes 30 minutes to get through? Only over here, right? Only on Offhand Disney. Just remember to keep in mind, don't let this list distract you from the true best holiday overlays of all time. I don't know if you've been watching this video or paying attention, but that's Living with the Land and the Haunted Mansion. Also, do the Main Street vehicles count? Because, Main Street's all decorated for the holidays and the vehicles drive up and down Main Street, so I guess that would technically be a holiday overlay if you think about it. Well, if that counts, then that also means the Railroad counts because Main Street gets decorated, and if that counts, then that means the Mark Twain and the Columbia also count because all of those respective lands get decorated for Christmas. Oh, and if that counts, then the Storybook Land canal boats also may be able to count because you can kind of see it's a small world from the ride. Hello everybody, welcome to the end card. Thank you so much for watching this exceptionally sort of lengthy top 10 video. If you like this video, if you want more top 10 videos like this, please be sure to hit the like button. If you're new around here and you want more videos, to see more videos in your sub feed, you hit the subscribe button, I believe. Was this video a little too early for the holidays? Well, you can be the judge of that. Me personally, no chance. This is just on time. Remember that if you want more, early access to videos, special exclusive Patreon videos, you can head over to patreon.com/offhanddisney. It's a link right down there in the description. It's just $1 a month gets you access to most of the perks. So if that sounds interesting to you, you want early access to videos, some sneak peeks, head over there. And again, a massive thank you to all of my supporters over at Patreon. I say it at the end of every video, but I can't say it enough. Thank you all so much for your pledging and your support. And of course, if you want more content, more updates from Offhand Disney, you can follow me at Offhand Disney on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I am on those social medias. It makes it a little bit easier, just Offhand Disney everywhere. I realize this video is like, like top 10 holiday overlays that I want to see, but also some holiday overlays sort of already exist for some of the rides. So it's also like top 10 holiday overlays that could be improved. I don't know if you caught that or not, but either way, everybody, thank you all so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you all in the next video, and also thank you for watching this one. Goodbye.